So you want to get a really good bottle of wine on a budget, cheap, with great quality. I've got 5 great tips for you to get a good cheap bottle of wine. Stay tuned. Greetings everybody. Welcome to Brian's Table. I'm Brian Singh. So we have a problem. You want to enjoy a bottle of wine with some friends or have it over dinner, and you just are always at a loss when you go to the liquor store. There's a lot of choices out there. Some are very expensive, some of them are cheap. How do you know you're getting a good bottle of wine? Because again, you're not going to be drinking a lot, but when you do, you want to have the best possible bottle for your budget. So here are my 5 tips for getting a great bottle of wine. Number 1, look at expensive wines. When you go to the liquor store and you go to the expensive wine sections, take a note on who the producers are. Typically, every producer has an entry-level bottle of wine that usually goes for about $15 to $20. The best producers who are producing premium wines will never put out a crap product on the market. So go for the entry level on the expensive producers and you're going to get a great bottle of wine. That's tip number 1. Tip number 2, think about your regions. Everybody has heard of a Bordeaux or a Burgundy, but how many people have heard of a Rhone varietal or a Chenin Blanc from the Loire Valley? So if you are going for the big brands with the big names, you're going to pay a big price. So think about going to, if you're going to eat Italian food, the big brand name in Italy is going to be Tuscany and Piemonte, but have you ever had a Campagna Torazzi? This is a top-notch wine that is every bit as good as a Barolo, maybe pairs up slightly differently with different food, but is most probably 2/3 the cost. So again, think region within a country that you like, but think about other well-known regions that don't have the brand name recognition. Tip number 3, going from region, I'm going to go more general on geography. Think latitude. Wines that are grown closer to the equator, so think like Australia, California, even Mexico, and Southern Europe, they're going to be bigger, bolder, fruitier, as well as more aromatic. When you go to the cooler areas, which are further away from the equator, say Germany, even Canada, what you're going to find is the wines are leaner, they are lower alcohol, and they are a lighter style. So think about what you want to eat as well as your particular preference. Are you a big fruity style of wine, or are you a bit more of a leaner, lighter style? So look at latitude and geography. That would help you decide upon what is a good wine for you. Typically, I do find that you get good value between the two, but once you get your preference down and you get your location down and you get your region down and you start to understand the relationship between who is making expensive wine or is also making a cheap wine, you got 3 good foundational tips there to get a decent value bottle of wine. But here are the last 2 that would make the biggest difference. You need to talk to the wine store owner and tell them what you like to eat and what's your particular style of wine that you like. They have a lot of wines in their arsenal that will fulfill your taste. So do not be afraid to ask questions, but you have to be giving of yourself in terms of what you like to see if somebody is able to match it up to it. As you may be aware, that when food and wine grows up together, it goes together. And the owner of the liquor store or the clerk there most likely has a wine education and is very astute in understanding people's preferences, and more than likely could lead you in the direction of a very good, high-value bottle of wine for a low cost. Which leads to my fifth tip. The only way that you learn about wine is actually drinking it. And a good way to do this is to actually start with a case. And what I encourage you to do with friends and family is to get together, establish a budget. Let's say I live in Canada, you're able to get certain wines for about $15, so 12 times 15 will take you to about $180. Establish a budget of about $200 and go out there and get a case of wine, work with the store rep, and design a case of wines that you would not typically drink. And there's a bit of a survey of all the styles of wine out there with different regions, maybe Old World, which includes France, Spain, Italy, and even out to Georgia, to New World, which includes Canada, United States, Australia, and New Zealand. And when you sit down and you discuss what you like and don't like about each of these wines, you've actually had a chance to sample 12 different wines, and you now have a benchmark on which you could actually decide and guide your preferences for future purchases. So if you follow these 5 tips, I'd like to think that you will get to a good, high value, low cost, great quality bottle of wine that fits within your budget, and it should always fit within your budget, and that you will enjoy, and that you'll have a good experience with friends, and it will go well with your food. And that way you get the context in which that producer wanted you to enjoy that wine, and you won't feel like you're taken to the cleaners just because you wanted to get a good cheap bottle of wine. So that's actually, this is exactly how I go about buying my wines. Sometimes you just need to be able to have an entry point, and at some subsequent video, I'm going to teach you a little bit about geographic markers, and that will be tip number 6, and that will be the big one that would actually seal the deal for you. So stay tuned for that one. Now, folks, thanks again for watching. If you like what you're seeing, hit the like and subscribe button. And in the meantime, wine is part of a good social experience that pairs well with food and gives you a chance to go out there and taste the world.